wait. Oh, there's a description now. Love it. All right. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Honestly, I love this little animation. It's just not better than the heart emoji. Like I really like when you click the heart into the ear
There we
and then
go.
sparkles.
Get some applause. We need some boom, 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 boom. Welcome entrance music, Sunken Blimp. Where's my track?
Yo, that's
Nothing's just-
right. We should really get one of those. Like like people that do like podcasts, like legit podcasts, and they have like a whole set of effects and all.
So
All right, that's like
I've done a couple of legit podcasts, and I'm using Riverside, which is just incredible right now. So you can load in basically all your sound effects into a virtual studio. And the cool thing is when you're recording the podcast, it's recording everything locally. So even on your computer and on your guest's computer. So you don't get all of the Zoom technical sounding glitch.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's
That is
really,
great.
really,
Yeah,
really
because
nice.
I've seen some people doing podcasts, especially after the pandemic, right? That everyone kind of started on something, but man, like Zoom podcasts are so bad. Like it's already hard meetings and stuff every day, like listening to people like, oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? But if you're listening to a podcast and you're experiencing that, that is so bad. Hey, I haven't heard of it. Reverse?
Riverside. Yeah, no, a bunch of the big podcast studios, and like I said, you can load in all your sound beds and any kind of effects. You can basically have a virtual board in front of you to control the studio, and you can actually bring in a producer to run the soundboard if need be. And it's
That
all
is
virtual,
great.
which is nice.
That is great. Yeah. I think at some point what we want to do is even branch off the ways that we do dive lives, and instead of just having live presentations, because we do end up with a lot of limitations when it comes to like the platform and being in 3D. Sometimes it gets a little chaotic, but doing virtual presentations that are pre-recorded, and then we can do in something like Unreal Engine, with a guest. It's something that is more, different ways with more opportunities. And those would be more instead of every week, at least like once a month, a fully even like a good interesting solution for the
Oh
audio
yeah,
component of it.
absolutely. You could run the virtual. The other thing I've been doing, and I know we're right at time, so just cut me off here, but Descript is my other favorite secret podcasting tool right now. You can take all the audio, or you could take the video from these. You can load them into Descript, edit the video using transcription.
That is
Yeah,
great.
so you're getting all.
I'm taking notes right now.
This isn't even part of the panel, so I'm spitting fire already. Wait till we
Yeah,
get started.
let's go. All right. So, well, I guess there's a couple of people coming still. So, I see someone joined right now. Ellen, hello, welcome. Welcome to the Sunken Bloom stage. And since we are on time, I would like to do the introduction, and we can get started with a little bit of the presentation. And as people join, they will be joining us. So, Camilo, if everything is good, we can start live streaming. And I would like to welcome everyone to the Sunken Bloom stage. Today is a special presentation. We usually host these on Saturdays, but today we're doing a Thursday presentation. So this is the stage where we host what we call dive lives, and these are presentations on the Sunken Bloom stage where we bringing a different speaker anywhere from their work, their philosophy of living, their different projects, whatever they like to talk about. And overall, I think we're close to 50 presentations on this stage alone. So if you go downstairs right now, you can probably see there is a history of the Sunken Bloom stage design. We've been modifying the space for about a year now. So every time we change a little bit of the stage, we change a little bit of the angles and all, we are actually looking at how people behave in a space, where people stand, and how different speakers, they want to show different types of information in a virtual stage. And we're using that as research in the end to figure out what is the new way of designing for this new world, right? If we're designing for virtual environments, where does thing do things go? And I can get a little carried away about the architectural things, but nonetheless, I'd like to welcome you guys to this dive live because we are in the topic of fashion. And if you guys don't know, we've had a lot of presentations before in the topic of fashion. Some amazing people such as Julian Rosilio from Dress X. We've had Bridget Koch from Paraprint doing 3D printed for fashion design. We've had Jessica Evans doing her biology stuff, which is insane. She's growing bacteria and all different types of organisms for the topic of fashion. And right now, we have a very, very special guest here with us, Michael Toner. So a round of applause. Michael, thank you so much and welcome to the stage.
Thank you.
And one thing that I like to say, of course, and for those that don't know, Michael Toner is the Chief Marketing Officer of Threedium, a 3D and AR company shaping the future of 3D internet. The company helps global brands to create and distribute 3D and augmented reality commerce channels, helping improve the way people buy and sell products across the 3D web. Thank you, Michael, for being here with us. And without further ado, the stage is yours.
All right. Thank you all so much. Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. I will kick things off by saying I love that you have been taking feedback and watching the audience coming into your stage and studying the behavior of the visitors into the metaverse. I think that shows just a lot of smart business savvy to really understand your users and how they're using the space and how it best serves them and making those adjustments. So kudos to you. And while we won't be going into the architectural piece so much, I have a lot of admiration for those who are truly building out the physical spaces, the city planning, if you will, inside of the metaverse, because I think there's still a lot to be desired and a lot of opportunity there. But thank you again for having me on. I'm Michael Toner. I am the Chief Marketing Officer at Threedium. Threedium is a 3D and AR engine helping global brands to power 3D commerce on their e-commerce sites, as well as bringing those assets into virtual metaverse environments, minting them as NFTs, using them as 3D display ads, and a lot of the stuff I'm going to walk through at least pretty quickly in the presentation. I'll keep things casual. I'm happy to give at least a 60-second background on me, how I got here. Then I'll fly through a couple of slides. I'll explain also some of the things that are out in the audience here in the stage, the shoes, the configurator, the AR link. So I'll talk about some of these as case studies and things that Threedium and my team have built. And then I'm going to give a little bit of sneak peek on Metaverse Fashion Week. So that's kind of my agenda. My quick background, fly through some slides, some case studies, a little alpha on Metaverse Fashion Week, and I can do all that in, say, 20 minutes. So get your questions ready if you have any, and happy, like I said, to have a dialogue. I think, one of the things to set the stage that I think is important is that I'm not a fashion designer. So a lot of these talks that I've given over the last several years as I stepped into the 3D and AR world, and I guess that's sort of my background here, is I came from corporate America. I came from typical B2B. I spent more than 10, 15 years of my career running digital marketing teams inside of some of the world's largest financial institutions. I worked for Berkshire Hathaway's Business Wire, running the global digital marketing team. I always wanted to be on the cutting edge of technology. And when I was introduced to, the guys really building the tech behind Threedium, I realized that it was a true game-changing technology. And so that's a little bit about my background coming from the corporate world. I've been at Threedium almost exactly 2 years now. And that important point there, I guess, is, again, I'm not a fashion designer. So I'm really coming at this from a pure technology perspective. And I've always been somewhere in between a creator myself, a digital designer, if you will, and a marketer and somebody who understands brand objectives and how big brands operate inside the company in order to bring campaigns to life, especially having worked inside financial institutions. There's a lot of bureaucracy, there's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of legal and compliance to bring a campaign forward. And I say all that because we're here tonight in the metaverse, and everyone is seeing and observing big brands step into this world and attempting to build campaigns, build immersive. In this case, we're here to talk tonight about fashion experiences. And so, there's some strong visuals that come to life there. And I'll talk more about Metaverse Fashion Week towards the end. But that's a little bit about my background. I'm not a fashion designer, but I come at this from a pure technology and marketing perspective of how brands can build these kind of immersive experiences and what that really looks like when you get down to talking about specifically 3D and augmented reality. I'll fly through some of these slides. I'm sort of switching browsers here. So if you could just confirm for me you're seeing the next slide, because I'm not seeing the spatial here. You should see a beautiful ring swirling around. Can I get a nod or a check? Are you seeing that other side? Cool. Awesome. So this is a little bit about Threedium's own technology and how we are bringing this immersive metaverse experience, this 3D shopping experience to typical e-commerce websites. So we've built a proprietary 3D platform. This is a 3D infrastructure that allows us to bring these files that are typically heavy, difficult to load on mobile phones, that have not been used in e-commerce or product display pages. This is lightweight and lightning fast 3D and AR that runs in any browser, in any device, on any content management system. These are typically 2.5 to 3 megabyte files that can be served programmatically through a DSP or any other kind of display advertising, programmatic display advertising, which is really unique in our ability to retain the photorealism of this diamond that you see here. There's a beautiful diamond on threedium.io right now. We just unveiled our latest next generation diamond shader. So we're really focused in on how to build the most photorealistic digital twins of these physical products in order for it to maintain the fidelity that these luxury brands are demanding. And again, I'll just kind of come back to my marketing side of things. When we talk about fashion or luxury or jewelry industries, there's an extreme demand on quality and precision when they showcase something on their website. It has to look like, and so that's where Threedium has just focused in on proprietary, in this case, diamond shaders or texture shaders in order to things that are notoriously difficult, like glass and fur. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well. This is a sampling of the clients that we're working with. So when I talk about the demand and the quality and the fidelity and the precision, that echoes names of Dior and BMW and Fendi and Bulgari. These guys, are expecting it to look exactly like what it is they sell. And so they've turned to us as a trusted partner to do that. We are really focused in on a couple of different aspects. I won't spend a ton of time on this, but the important thing to point out in the upper right-hand corner here, this is the actual platform. This is the software that Threedium has built.
I think there was a little glitch and the screen is still on the current partners.
Oh, okay. It should be coming through now. How about now? I'll change it up.
No, I think it's still stuck. Perhaps you might need to reshare.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No worries. No, thanks for saying something. I'll come back in.
I'll go run and grab it.
Yeah, if you could, no worries. And I'll like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the thing that I wanted to showcase there is that we are not, and I think I can bring this around to fashion side of things. Maybe there's some creators here in the space as well. Okay, yeah, there you go. Cool. So a lot of folks that are doing 3D AR within the fashion industry are really focusing on just the modeling itself. And while we do work with 3D modelers, the important thing that, again, I wanted to show, and the video will have to reload, is that we've built a proprietary engine. It is a web-based 3D software as a service. So that ring that you see in the upper right-hand corner of the screen share, you can see the materials, you can see the ability to change the textures, to change the lighting, to change the camera angles. What we're really building is the ability for everyone here to create a 3D e-commerce experience, to take 3D assets and build something around them, so that it is not just the object itself, but it can do something. It can have a utility. It can change the colors. It can show different styles, different sizes, things like that. And this is really all leading me to Metaverse Fashion Week. So I'll fly through some of these. This is an example of a figurator commerce experience that we built for Fendi. You can see the ways in which the experience can be used. It is not just about a spinning object, but it is about the storytelling. In this case, you can sort of explode the bag. You can see it in different colors. You can change the camera angles with a button. You can change the textures, all happening in real time. And this all works on a mobile device on any CMS. So, every detail can be highlighted in real time. Same thing here with a watch. This particular slide is meant to highlight the AR, and then I'm going to go to the case studies that are kind of out on the screens there. But a couple things to be storytelling, again, done around the asset itself. So not just, in this case, a watch, but actually videos about how the watch is built, the materials that are used, the mechanisms inside the watch, the actual moving pieces can be shown to the buyer. And I kind of come back to the industries right now that are driving innovation are these luxury and fashion brands who demand that kind of storytelling, and they want to highlight their heritage of their products and how they built it and the materials that they used. So it's important to think about that. This is another good example, the Fendachi bags, so really bringing it into that fashion world here. You can see the ability to zoom in on the metal, the metallics, but also to inform the customer. So the example is when you put this particular bag in AR, you can see how big it is. Think about that when you're building experiences. Like, what is the problem that you're solving for the end customer? They want to know, does this bag, would it hold my phone in it? And when you place it in augmented reality, you can get a pretty realistic idea of whether or not the bag can hold a device or not. Like proportions, as you see the user zooming in and out from 100%, to really understand the true dimensions. Let me keep moving through some of this. This is more from the marketing perspective, but just to show how assets can be used across multiple environments. So using CGI videos or creating CGI videos from the asset to continue that storytelling. I don't think this one was in the slides that I put out, but this is my jumping off point to come back into spatial. If you guys want to scan this QR code, you can. Let me switch browsers. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. And what I wanted to do is I'm going to walk out here to this Carmina shoe. So just to talk about a couple things, and then I'll pull up the actually built and answer any questions. Folks are still around. So in this particular example, the team at Carmina wanted to create every permutation available in the shoe, every leather option, every lace option, every lining option, the tongue, the vamp, the toe, You name it, every component of this shoe can be customized. And what I tell people is that this is the second most powerful 3D configurator on the web today, and it's second only to Nike and what Nike has built with the Nike ID. So there's 1.2 million permutations of this shoe configurator. Live, if you want to check out the shoemaker.com, you can actually see they're running their entire e-commerce using the 3D engine and using the proprietary tech stack that allows them to pull in all of these materials. So for those of you in the fashion design space, understanding all of the permutations that a user can possibly customize from a supply chain perspective. How many variations of this shoe can we humanly produce? And what are the options with a black top and a leopard print toe and a brass buckle? When you count them all up, you get to 1.2 million permutations. I don't know what the count is for Nike, but I know that the only reason we are able to do this is that we're running everything, and this is where my tech side of things comes out. We're running everything as a headless API, allowing the developers inside of Carmina or any other brand to simply pull in the materials to be placed on to the object. They know how many variations of this leather they have in the factory. And as long as they maintain that inventory, we can simply pull in those color swatches and produce the digital version of that shoe in real time. The other thing that's important to note as you think about fashion and configuration and customization of something is the dynamic pricing that's involved. So I know this kind of gets into the tech side of things, but depending on the builders who are here in the space, it's important to think about, if I choose a specific texture, that then needs to be tied to the customer's ERP, to the configure price quote mechanism that they're using in the back end of their e-commerce in order to change that pricing. Threedium's not building this. That's another important thing. We're just empowering companies to take the stuff and bring it into 3D. And in fact, it's probably the thing that's allowing us to be as nimble as we are right now, because we're not having to rebuild full e-commerce solutions. So that's the Carmina case study. These guys are seeing 18% higher engagement. They're seeing almost a 300% reduction in returns. So when somebody uses the 3D configurator to buy the shoe, they are less likely to return it. We talk about fashion, talk about sustainability and green efforts by big brands, and how to really, again, for the builders out here, to think about how to position this as you're talking to potential customers, creators, designers that you interact with. It's really important to put things in the business context of how is this going to help them. And I think that is a really powerful way to say, look, you can build every version of your product digitally. You can sell it, put it on your website, allow people to customize it, collect the dollars, have them put their credit card in, have them buy the NFT, and then go produce it. And that flippening of the supply chain is something that the fashion industry has been talking about for a long time. Blockchain and the efficiencies that it provides are really creating market conditions that I think are happen. And that's where I wanted to go. One other case study, and I'll take a breath here. I think I have the example. Let me pull it up. Okay, I'm coming back to my window. And I guess every time I share, you're probably having to go grab that screen, aren't you?
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's coming back. Sorry about that. We really need to. We'll talk to Spatial. We'll get them to put it back where it goes.
Yeah, I'm getting my calories of the day on the Apple Watch.
No, I appreciate you going to get that for me. The one that I wanted to get to is This is it. Sorry, I'm getting a real bad echo. Is that me?
All right, someone had their mic on. I just muted.
No worries. Thank you. So if you can see this 3D virtual store, and this is the case study of the New Balance wearable that you see kind of on the left of or stage right there. Not just taking 3D sets, not just bringing them into e-commerce from a fashion design perspective stores. And I started this by saying we're really not in the business of creating the architecture and the design of the shops themselves, or even the merchandising of those shops. That's not really what our technology and our platform is designed to do, but it's a really powerful case study for how New Balance wanted to create a metaverse activation around the London Marathon. And they created, in this case, it was a bespoke virtual environment that race runners could come into this sports shoe store, and they could see effectively the merchandise that was being designed and shared for the London Marathon. So it was just another way for those race runners to have access to the brand in this immersive environment. So that's where I'm at. I'm not going to take you through my definition of the metaverse other than to say it's not a single place. It is really this change in ownership. I don't believe it's Decentraland. I don't believe it's Meta, VR headsets, or spatial in and of itself, but I believe it's this time that we're living in right now where we are putting an equal value on digital assets, that it's not weird for me to own a virtual hoodie that I wear on my avatar because I actually own the physical hoodie that I wear out the door every morning. And that's something I have 2 kids under the age of 10, and I tell people they're really my secret weapon because I watch their behavior. I see how they interact with digital assets around them in Roblox, in Minecraft. And my son the other day logged into a different world in Minecraft, and one of his building blocks materials was not there in that account. And he asked me, Dad, why the rock was my obsidian rock? Why is my obsidian rock not in this account? I need it to be there. And I think that's important. Shareholders in the room, anyone in fashion design who's about creating metaverse activations for your brand, I think you're in the right place at the right time for a growing population that expects these digital assets to show up in these virtual worlds. They don't understand why it's not there. And that's a huge shift generationally and changing in how we all use the internet. So that's my background. That's an update on Threedium, the things that we're building, the tech that we're building, and how we're bringing it to market. I'm at 25 minutes and happy to take questions. And as I go, I will steer things into Metaverse Fashion Week and any alpha I can share. Thank you all. Happy to take questions or hear about your projects, anything you're building.
Hi, Mike. First of all, thank you so much. I'm gonna go on, go on and start the first question while people are thinking about their questions. First, thank you so much for the presentation. Like amazing stuff that you guys knew about Threedium, but it was only until you spoke about it that I fully grasped, the actual, the mission and what you guys are doing. And I actually have a question that might relate to other people here as well. You mentioned that this is a platform where creators and the brands can use. And what is the process right now for a creator to let's say you mentioned you don't do the design of the virtual shops itself, right? What is the process for a creator to use your guys' platform to create this design? Is this open for all? Is this an application, or you have to reach out to Threedium beforehand? What is the process today?
Great question. So I referenced that is the product that we have built over the last 5 years. We started the company was founded in 2017, so we've been working on this for nearly 5 years, and come March. But unlimited3d.com is where we would direct an individual user. You can sign up, enter your credit card, a couple of details, billing details, and sign up for a monthly subscription to use the service today. From there, you can, within the platform, request assets to be created, upload reference images, work directly with our team through the collaboration tools within the platform, which are very unique in and of themselves. Because we're dealing with 3D assets, we've sort of taken that idea of collaboration to the next level and actually using the 3D model. Imagine clicking on the seam of a shirt and making a comment to say this seam should be with red stitching. And today you would have to do that in a 2D format. You would draw an arrow, put it in a PowerPoint. Why, especially in the fashion and design space, why not use the 3D to really help with that feedback? Anyway, all that is to say, unlimited3d.com. It's a monthly subscription to get started, to jump into our Discord, our Slack channels for support, training videos, and onboarding, a lot of which we really are ready right now to use the tools to give us that and help enhance the product even further. But I'm glad to hear that a lot of folks really see, that we do 3D well, but we're not a modeling studio. We are empowering 3D modelers, creators, designers to bring those things to life so that they don't get locked up inside of a Blender file and never see the light of day, which I think has happened way too often over the last 5 or 6 years because you couldn't take those assets anywhere.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, any other questions? I want to know if there's any fashion designers in the house, anybody who's thinking about like creating their own fashion line. I see the Banks, you were showing up looking flashy in here. I'd love to hear how the story around your outfit, and did you design it? Did you create it? I put you on the spot. I lost him. Any other questions?
In the meantime, I actually do have another one. One thing that you mentioned that I know the struggle or the challenge, right? The challenge is that you were talking about the ring and how there's a need for bringing it, let's say, low poly or very low size of these models, but still striking for this realism and high quality graphics. My question to you is actually to know your opinion in the rate that technology is progressing. If you believe that as we progress technology, we're going to have devices or software that is going to be able to take higher file sizes, into these type of experiences, or do you think we're going to get better and better at making really high quality low file sizes? Do you think we're going to be able to take higher ones or be able to create lower ones?
I'd say it's both working in the right direction. I think you see a point where the optimization of these file formats becomes ubiquitous. They become easily transferable, something that you could, I'll say text to somebody. It's not really what I mean, but you have to think about it in that way. If I could share this experience via a phone and it would maintain the fidelity, and simultaneously, I think you'll see just bandwidth increase, 5G still. And that really leads to, we didn't talk about Apple and the AR. I saw some rumor just an hour or so ago that they're delaying the launch 2 more months till June. And the rumors from Apple AR glasses have been going on for years and years and years. But you think about everything we just talked about of file size reduction, optimization of processing power. For those of you, anyone using a next generation MacBook Air or the new Pros running the M1 chip, you know how fast this is. And they've now launched the M2 chip. And I'm guessing some variation of that silicon is being used inside of the hardware that Apple's creating And all of that is to say that I believe, and actually this is a really important point, that I talked a lot tonight about 3D and publishing 3D on any device, on any browser, in any CMS. And the reason I reinforce it is for even what we just talked about of people can build really, really cool experiences, but if it only lives inside of Snapchat, that's really difficult to mass market. And again, I've been a marketer. I've been inside these big brands, and unless they know definitively that their target market is, 60% going to react to a Snapchat activation, it's not worth their time, their media investment. They don't know that there. I'll just stop there. They don't know because oftentimes they haven't done these kinds of like AR virtual try-ons. And so I know I'm rambling, but the question you asked about the tech getting better leads me to, as the tech gets better, the experiences of or the methods with which we are all going to be able to experience this 3D stuff is going to change. You're going to be able to see it through your phone. We all have an AR machine right now in our phone. That's pretty good. But when Apple turns on, all of the hardware and software that they're going to bring to market with the XR glasses, the experience broadens, but the assets or the ways you can experience that broaden, but the assets stay the same. You still need 3D stuff. You need the digital twin of whatever it is you are making or selling or marketing or anything for that matter. And I think that cannot be underestimated at the scale that Apple operates. So that's a long way around. The technology is getting better. AR is coming. And I think Apple will have a huge impact in what that means for the market overall, let alone the fashion market. What else, guys? I did say I was going to drop some alpha around Metaverse Fashion Week. So let me, unless there's any questions there on like the tech or AR stuff, e-commerce projects, I'll tell a quick story.
Just put in the chat that she's a fashion marketer.
Ah, nice. Cool. Yeah, I love that. We are always looking for creators. So this is, I'll make that my segue into Metaverse Fashion Week. Last year, I was sort of at the height of NFT summer, minting NFTs more than I ever thought I would. And we were inside of Decentraland, playing around, learning about, this is, a year or so ago now, learning about these decentralized platforms. And Decentraland approached us to help them build Metaverse Fashion Week. This had never been done before. And so we worked with a number of brand partners and we Threedium built a space inside of Decentraland specifically to help brands sell digital wearables as part of Metaverse Fashion Week. And it was to mixed success, and I'll be the first to admit that. I think it was really a test and learn approach for so many brands. And for a lot of companies, it just didn't really make sense for them. They hadn't yet gotten their bearings of how they were going to step into the metaverse, what it meant for them. Got some good stories I can tell of stuff we built there, but nonetheless, we've come back around here for the second Metaverse Fashion Week, where Decentraland has also partnered with Spatial. So big fans of Spatial. Metaverse Fashion Week will be happening at the end of March across Decentraland, Spatial, and OVR, which, given my story about augmented reality just a moment ago, OVR is sort of the AR player in that Metaverse Fashion Week. And Threedium is the tech partner helping to bring brands and individual fashion designers, anyone with an idea, anyone who wants to be and create their digital wearables and showcase them at Metaverse Fashion Week. We are helping provide the true interoperability. A lot of people throw that word around in Web3 and in the metaverse, but what I'll say, and I'll define it, is that if you have a design and you want to come into Metaverse Fashion Week, we can instantaneously, programmatically turn your fashion designs from Decentraland wearables into Ready Player Me spatial compatible wearables, as well as rig them for virtual try-on in OVR. And all of that is part of our proprietary tech stack that frankly we learned the hard way during Metaverse Fashion Week last year, when we were trying to optimize hundreds of 3D wearables for the Decentraland specs. And we realized that we had a huge opportunity to automate this process and build it into our engine and make it a one-click operation. So from a single CMS, you can publish your 3D designs, your 3D garments, and you can have them appear in any of the metaverses participating in Metaverse Fashion Week. So that's a little bit of the our participation in that event. And then I'll give a little bit of alpha, which is actually today, not more than a few hours ago. I was on a Twitter Spaces with my CTO, Dushin Otobasic, who's really the brains behind the 3D operation and built the proprietary software that we use to build all these experiences. We've just launched our first Web3 product. So this is Versatile. You guys are really getting an early alpha look at this. This is versatile.io, VRSTL.io. And this is in an alpha version right now, but this is the product that does exactly what I just described. And it is the tool that we are using to bring any fashion designer, anyone with an idea, anyone who wants to show up at Metaverse Fashion Week and create their wearables and market them and sell them. You have an opportunity to do so using this versatile tool. You can basically build your own fashion collection. So stay tuned. We're going to do another Twitter Spaces tomorrow, I think, and really launch this up until Metaverse Fashion Week.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Michael. If anyone, would you like to share your socials? If anyone would like to keep, following you and following these ideas, you mentioned the Twitter space. Where can people find that?
Yeah, so I'm Mike Toner on Twitter. That's probably my preferred mechanism to get a hold of me directly. So at Mike Toner on Twitter, feel free to DM me, follow me. I'll be tweeting out the link. The Versatile Twitter is versatile_.io. But if you follow me on Twitter, I'll be tweeting out the link tomorrow. At Threedium is the main, really the main brand, and that I think that's also important too. Is Versatile is very much the Web3 product from the team at Threedium. We have all. I see Nolan Ether. Thanks, good space guys. I don't know if you were on the spaces, but if you were, awesome. Or if you're talking about this one, you should jump on Twitter Spaces tomorrow, and we should also show you the tool because I know you would have fun when you get in there and use it. But yeah, it's sorry, Web3 product from BDM. So just having learned in the case, we understood some of the pain points in order to bring fashion and wearables into these environments. It's difficult, and so we're really excited to bring this thing to market. And the alpha version is fire. It's never been done before, and it takes a lot for me to say something like that because I pride myself on my own marketing reputation, and I've studied the market. I know what's out there. I know who the competitors are. I know what everybody's doing, and I'm excited that we are, going to be able to bring this thing to life, and frankly, work with all of the folks who are building in the space. That's the other thing. I know you guys have had some amazing people on the stage, a lot of whom we've had the pleasure of working with. So, we've worked with DressX on a number of campaigns. We did a Farfetch pre-order campaign with them where they were really helping with the virtual try-on within the Snapchat environment, and we were building the 3D and e-commerce experiences. So that's my my charter in this space is I really I feel very comfortable in my Web3 skin in that I love working and collaborating with the community, and I never felt comfortable in my B2B marketing skin when everything was cutthroat. And I really think that I know markets are up today, but WAGMI needs to come back uh, as a saying, because I really think that mentality of us all building together, and kudos to you for bringing this community together in this space, because together we go farther.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And yeah, that is the whole point, bringing people to talk about their projects, and you never know what you're going to expect, coming on a Thursday night or morning, depending on where you are, and then seeing someone talk, and then that inspires you into something else, or it creates a connection. We've seen this multiple times, people in the chat linking up and then have a conversation or talk deeper about something afterwards. And you never know the ripple this has, and that's the beauty. I also community or this industry is that people are willing to, because everyone is building this industry together. It's something that a couple years ago there was nothing like it, so it's something that is reinventing it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, happy to come back, happy to do it again, happy to support whatever way. I'll tell you, you guys killed it with this this SpongeBob portal. I'm trying to think. I saw it. I was like, what was it? I loved it. I was like, this thing is amazing. So I'd love to get the alpha from you guys. We have to connect after the fact, but I have a strange suspicion there's some cool stuff that we're gonna do together this year. So
oh my god, you have no idea. When you were presenting my brain, you have no idea how many